ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We are back with a Thursday edition of 5 Star Radio. I hope you're doing well out there. It is 5:58. A little brisk in my part of the world, but it's been hot all week, which is disconcerting and kind of weird, unfortunately. But speaking of disconcerting and kind of hot, I'm here with my co-host, Steel Flyers. What's going on, bud?
I thought you were going to say weird and disconcerting, but all right, I'll take
No,
that.
I'll give you kind of hot. I'll give you kind of hot. Let's go.
All right, whoa, all right,
Hey,
okay.
complimentary. We're coming in swinging early. I'm in a good mood. The Steelers are scoring points. Looks like we got a quarterback
Winning,
again. Yeah, it's
tie for first place.
yeah. No,
We're all good, man.
we're happy about it. And right off the bat, I just gotta mention, appreciate everyone's patience this week. Obviously the uploads were a little bit weird. Everybody saw I uploaded quarter by quarter. Everybody's been following the drama. YouTube unblocked the full video randomly yesterday, so I put the full video out. I had so many comments of people who are like, I already watched it in clips, but I'm watching it again to make sure the algorithm thinks you're doing good. And so I appreciate y'all. And again, I'm not trying to force Patreon, but they're not giving me trouble. So if you want the show in the best possible form, that's the easiest way to do it right now. It's $4 a month, patreon.com/5SMU. But I appreciate all of you and the patience. And also, we hit 20,000 subscribers today, which is super humbling and awesome. We've been kind of getting close to it. And last night I realized it was going to be coming up imminently, either last night or this morning, and it happened this morning. And I thank you all. So many of you have been watching me now since season 1 or season 2, and now deep into season 6. It feels stronger than ever. 20,000 people. I know you can look around and say there's millions of people. There's so many channels that have 10 million subscribers and whatever, but listen, if I got each and every one of you in a room, it would fill a basketball arena, and that's pretty damn cool. That's more than most people have. So I'm really appreciative. You guys are the best. Thank you as always. Now that I've been rambling for 5 minutes, Steel Flyers, what's going on with you?
Well, my man, I got to tell you, for one, it's worth the wait for your show. Seriously, it's worth the wait. And I don't care if I have to watch it in quarters or 4-minute increments. I don't care. The fact of the matter is that if you do 5-minute quarters, that still gives us 20 minutes of playtime. You know what I mean?
I'm
It's a
putting in the work.
five-star match because you in it. What? Come
We
on
appreciate
now.
Appreciate it.
You
So
know?
yeah. So what are you? I mean, obviously you and I haven't really talked. Maybe a text or two. But how are you doing on your newfound Steelers have a quarterback journey since Sunday? What are you thinking? Where are you? Are you in overreaction territory? Are you in I told you so territory? Where are you at?
I'm in. Um, what does it take to get the W?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw 6 games of Justin Fields with Russell Wilson healthy. We had to see Russell Wilson because everybody else and their brother out there is, oh, this, that, and everything else. But here's the thing. I see Russell Wilson more as the here and now, and Justin Fields maybe down the road, if
Sure.
that's to be the case. So I'll have a question for you then later.
Okay.
But as long as we're getting the W,
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that I saw in this game that I haven't seen in a really long time.
that's true.
Okay, and look, I'm gonna steal a little words out of the horse's mouth here. You finally got to do a highlight show with some highlights.
I did. They had, I think, five. I think I saw. Don't quote me, but I think the stat was they had 5 plays of 30 plus yards. and I believe that was the first time that they had done that since 2016 or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, they just they it felt like things were unstuck for the first time in a long time. And the more that I've sat on it, the more it's become clear to me like what changed. And I think I said this a little bit on the main show, and I said it a little bit with Gage, but it's it's just having a veteran quarterback. That's really all it is. It's not even like, there's so many people, cuz like with anything, there's always going to be the positivity and the negativity of like, there's the freak out at first of like, "Oh, Russell Wilson's back." And then there's like the contingency of the audience that's like, "Oh, well, it's one game and he just got lucky." And then there you see Broncos fans that are like, "Oh, no, he sucks. He'll implode, blah blah blah, whatever." Like, but what I saw was like it's not even about the physical ability. It's just about getting the ball where it needs to be in order to give your playmakers a chance. And that's what I feel like we've been screaming about, for years, with the Pickett Trubisky kind of era, where it was just like, if you don't get it out to the guy, and get some air under the ball and give him a chance, then he can't ever make the play. And not even just those deep balls, but man, I just keep thinking back on that Van Jefferson touchdown, where the hypothetical receiver Van Jefferson transcended into, what did I call him? I called him a, theoretical receiver,
Yeah,
and
translated into a theoretical receiver.
yeah,
It
but
was an 11-yard touchdown catch.
yeah, it wasn't even that. I don't even think it was that deep, but whatever it was, it was just the kind of play where I looked at it and I said, like, that was just, he knew where he was going before the snap, and he knew exactly how and when to get it there. And it's the kind of thing that, like, you never look at that play a second time on a box score, on a highlight, or anything like that. But I saw it and I said, man, that's just what they were missing. Like, there's so much of that with Pickett last year. I remember the Cardinals game where he ultimately got hurt, and it was almost the inverse of the same thing. They ran almost the exact opposite, where Calvin Austin ran to the left. I've talked about this play a million times, and he was so wide open, and Pickett never even looks to him. Instead, he
Nope.
pulls it down, runs, gets hurt, and ends his career as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I just think that shows you the difference, and I feel a lot better about things than I did a week ago.
Okay. All right. Look, I'm not trying to take anything away from what we saw from Justin Fields. Okay. If that's the guy that you're going to go with, okay, then that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. So, excuse me for being honest. You know what I mean? And I see things in him that are good. I saw him play pretty much trying to not lose it
Right.
football. He was basically running scared the whole time. And that's why I called him Justin Hot Reads Fields, because if the hot read wasn't there, he was ducking.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just the nature of how this whole thing unfolded. You know what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right that's we got to see more of the A Smith offense, where we got to see the Mount Washingtons, we got to see the Heat, or the Fire Moose. You
Yeah.
know what I mean, right? Where we got to see distribution of the ball.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that was one of the things that, as a quarterback, you have to be cognizant of, is distribution of the ball. Look, I understand that it's one thing to tuck the ball and run, and you even said it a couple of times in your show. Hey, if Justin Fields was doing that, that would have been a first down.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah, no, I understand. You're making sacrifices. There's different, they're different players, and they just
exactly.
bring different things to the game. I mean, like, I genuinely believe, like, I think that there's a case to be made that this is a team that could have very well been on its way to being a 10 or 11 win team that made the playoffs with Justin Fields. Like, but I think that there's probably a case.
Uh,
They're 4-2, and honestly, they could have been 6-0. Like it's not like they were struggling. All right, like you get to
Okay,
you get to 5-2, six. There's you're gonna tell me there's no way in the world with that defensive performance against the Jets and that special teams performance that they could have beat that game without Russell Wilson. And same thing against the Giants. The Giants are terrible. They should have beaten them if they were still playing Fields, and in which case you'd be sitting at 6-2. All right. Like if you get to 6-2 and you don't win 10 games, then you're a failure. I don't, I don't.
okay, but here's my only thing with that, right? So far, most of the teams that the Steelers have been playing are non-playoff teams from the year before, correct?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but you play who you
And
play.
right, and when you get into later in the season, you're going to start playing in the divisional games,
Sure.
right? And those games are going to mean way more than what we're doing now, right? So I
I,
don't know if I just don't know.
well, I think
I From what I've seen of Justin Fields, it gives me doubt. That's all I can say.
I put it this way is that I think that I'm not going to argue that put it that Wilson, if he is the player that we think he could be and that he was on Sunday, that raises your ceiling. There's no question about that. That's always
But
been
I don't
why
want
you
to do that.
yeah, that's
You know
always
what I mean?
been
I don't want to do that. I don't want to raise that expectation, though.
no, but
You know,
what I'm saying is you're raising what the potential of what you can achieve is. That's all. You can squint and see this team with Justin Fields the way they played on Sunday. You can see them going to play Buffalo in the playoffs and pulling out a win. You could see it. You could squint and see it. You're not going to favor it, but you could squint and see it. If you went in with Justin Fields, you're not going to really be able to see that, and you would have still
oh,
been
okay, I see what you're saying.
probably
Yeah.
you would have probably still been at the same place you were previous years, where it's like it's still more fun than watching Pickett and Trubisky play. But at the end of the day, do you still, is your
Right.
ceiling really any higher? And I felt like that's the way that they had Fields playing really was just like an upgraded version of Kenny Pickett who could run. And, that's a problem that I think that we've seen it now in the post Roethlis, as I say, the post Roethlisberger society, where that just seems to be Tomlin's tendency with young quarterbacks, where he is just hammering, "Do not turn it over, do not turn it over, do not turn it over." And I wonder sometimes, like, is that a positive? Maybe for Fields, that's a positive that helped him kind of get his career back on the right track. But also sometimes with a guy like that, it's like you want him to be a little improvisational. You want some you not to say you want bad plays here and there, but bad plays happen sometimes when you're trying to do good stuff, and so you want the guy to feel free. But I think what's happened here with the transition to Wilson now is that you have a guy who's just seen everything you can throw at him. Whatever you think about Wilson as the physical player that he is at 35 years old or whatever, it's inarguable that he is a more experienced player who can look at defenses and know what's coming better than Justin Fields, because it's just a fact. I mean, he's been in the league for 13 years. He's been in the Pro Bowl 10 times. I mean, you know, his reputation is what it is.
And so yeah, and I'm not like like I said, look. He's given Justin Fields a super positive set of tape
Mhm.
to where any team can go, well, hey, he went, 4-2 with the Steelers, and he didn't turn the ball over, and he was able to improvisationally make some plays, but
Yeah.
still the same knocks.
Yeah.
Some improvements, but still the same. We haven't. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I
we
see.
haven't gotten past some of the,
I see
what
that.
we thought.
I see that, but I don't know. I mean, I thought it was really positive for him, and I have a lot of
Yeah,
faith if he has to come in and play again.
yeah.
And and I look at two, like, just if you look at them combined, if they were one quarterback for the Steelers this year, they're 5-2 with 7 touchdowns passing, 6 touchdowns running, 1 interception. So that's 13-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Uh, I mean, in terms of 90, their combined is 96 6.6 passer rating. I mean, compared to where we've been the last couple years, I mean, I'm
Oh
in
yeah, we'll
heaven.
take that
I'm
all
in
day.
heaven with either of them, honestly. I'm excited to see where this goes with Wilson because I think that the deep shots and the moon ball that he's trademarked um, unlocks a lot of potential. But kudos to that whole room, man. They went out and they remade it and kindly, kind of finally pulled the band aid. And I think they're in a lot better place now with that position.
We're gonna see what this wide receiver room is gonna be made of with Russell Wilson at quarterback.
Right.
Because as you can clearly see, he's gonna be getting them the ball,
Right.
right? And the distribution's gonna be there. And I'm really, really enjoying watching the tight ends that Smith is featuring. You know what I mean? I'm really, really enjoying seeing finally Fryermuth making those catches that I got to watch him play in college. You know what I mean? Like he was just on
Yeah.
another plane in college. Do you know what I mean? And the reason why is because he's a bigger guy, but he has a little bit of speed, and
Yeah.
he's
No, he
not
can
afraid.
run.
And he's not afraid to lower the boom, right, and drag a couple of guys with him.
No,
And
he's
the
done
same
it.
thing with right. And Washington is even bigger.
Yeah, Washington's just a wild elephant out there, man. He
You know,
just
he reminds me of Eric Green. Do you remember
Yeah,
him?
I said it in the show. That was one of the first lines in the show. I said, "Get him some Eric Green shoulder pads, like the
There you
big, just
go.
like yeah." No, I'm with you. He's not as like polished of a receiver of the football as
Correct.
Eric Green because Eric Green, I
This is
think,
a rookie.
definitely, he was a big dude, but Eric Green was kind of like the bus in that he was just more agile than you thought he was for his size.
Good feet.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Mount Washington's just, I mean, he's just so made to be a he's just like he's got Steelers tight end 2 written all over his like he could be like he'll
All
just
day
you'll
long.
he gets a couple more catches this season, you'll start seeing the Washington jerseys in the stands. People will have the custom Mount Washington jersey, no doubt about it.
All day long, man.
Yeah, and
All day
so
long.
I love him. I love how that's looking, and the Fryermuth thing. By the way, hit the like. There's a lot of people hanging out. Hit that like button. Help us rank in the algorithm a little bit. And share with your friends. Tell people about us.
I
Um,
mean, come on now.
Pat Fryermuth, though, the one thing I was thinking about is that like this is, I mean, going into the season we kind of knew, right? Like you look at the receiver room and everybody was like, okay, they really have one good receiver and that's it. And they gave the extension to Fryermuth, and with Arthur Smith's background, everybody was kind of starting to think like, okay, well, it's going to kind of be Fryermuth at wide receiver too. Like he's going to be getting the second most pass targets, and I think that was exciting for a lot of people, which is myself included. But I saw this as like Art Smith's number one job. One, figure out the run game. I mean, just like they had no cohesive plan of attack the entire first 3 years of Najee's career. And two, figure out how to unlock Fryermuth because every time that he has had the opportunity for Yak, he does it. I mean, going back to being a rookie in his second year, I remember his second year, that first year with Pickett, where we were all starting to be like, wow, this guy's like a top 5 tight end. Like
Hello.
that second Pickett year was terrible for him. He was really just never
Barely
got.
even on the
Yeah,
radar.
he never got off the field last year or off the radar last year, off the turf, whatever. You know what I mean. But the first Pickett year, he looked like he was really ascending, and you know, I think that you're seeing more of that. But if I've noticed anything about his career, when he gets the opportunity to catch and run, he makes stuff happen for a big dude, and he's fast, and he can get yak, and so far that's what they're trying to do is trying to find these guys in space, get them open, and they've done it a couple times with Calvin Austin this year. Just going back to the pre even the last couple of years of Ben, they just Even passing completions, even when they got easy completions, there's no catch and run opportunities. And I think they're starting to kind of find that. And that's what you get with a good offensive coordinator and a good scheme. And I think Wilson's really going to help them unlock all that.
Well, when you get a quarterback that can put the ball there,
Mm-hmm.
do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's more along the lines of, you know, it goes back to, what you said even, previously, that you got to give the guy an opportunity to catch the ball. And if the guy has to turn around, stop, come back, you know, reach down to the ground with a pickaxe and a hoe to try to pick the ball up off the ground to catch the ball, that doesn't bode well for completions. You,
Well, and
you
it
know
doesn't, yeah, and it doesn't bode well for making a bigger play out of it.
Well, exactly. What I mean, you're not going to be able to get too much yards after the catch on that one. You know what I mean. Especially if you're lucky to even just get the ball cradled, and they even call it a catch. You know what I mean? In this NFL today,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Jesse James. Caught the dang ball. How many? What are we? 3,000 days now? Something.
Was it you? Was that you I was joking with, or Gage? I think it was Gage the other day where I was like, so we're gonna have like an apocalypse, and it's gonna be like a Mad Max society, and the only way we're gonna be able to keep track of time is by
It's
how
how
many
many
days
days?
it's been since Jesse James caught that ball. I was like, he's gonna be the guy that like we're like, oh, what day is it? What year is it? We have no idea, and they're gonna be like, okay, it's been 8,976 days since
James got
December
that ball.
20th, 2017, or whatever that was. What a legend. Shout out Jesse James. Love you, bud.
For real, man, for real. I love the reminders. It's like, all right, man. Okay, that's dedication right there,
And I know this
buddy.
for a fact because I've actually talked to him. He's a real person.
Oh yeah.
it's not just like a bot that he like set up to
No,
tweet
right.
that
I
every
know.
day. It's like a real he like does it. He takes time out of his day every day to write that tweet. Amazing.
Like I said, man, that's dedication.
It really is. We
And
love it.
by the way, speaking of dedication, all you have to do is go over to patreon.com/5SMU and get yourself signed up. $4 or $7 a month gets you access to the Patreon, get you access to the show, uncut, uncensored, and all in one glob of joy and lusciousness. That's
Do
what you got to do, man. Plus, you get to bug this guy 24/7. I mean, I
do
don't know if
it.
you answer yet, but you get to bug him.
Listen, ask my people. I am in the Discord server all day, every day. I mean, yesterday we had like an all-time day in the Discord server. Not to brag about it, but it's just we're building layer upon layer of jokes and references and memes, and I am just like
Beautiful,
it's
right?
the most fun I have with any social media. We're just constantly just goofing about stuff, and I can't tell you enough. If you want a fun, elevated sort of Steelers fan experience, you want to get in there. So patreon.com/5SMU. Like I said, end of the day, it's $4 a month, man. Like if you order DoorDash tonight, you get a pizza. You're tipping the guy $4. Okay, I'm out here hustling for you. I'm doing a full show. I got Gage doing second shows. I got 2 streams a week. I got shorts. I got this. I got that. And YouTube makes my life hell with the monetization. Um, I don't make any ad revenue on the main show, none. But I do it because I love y'all and I love that you enjoy my stupid football puns. So if you want to support the show, either drop a little
It's
super
not
chat.
stupid, man. 3,000 people disagree with you that it's stupid.
It's stupid. It's inherently stupid. The whole concept is stupid, but it's fun and it brings people together. And I'm just so proud of my community. I'm so thankful for
They're
20,000
good people,
subscribers.
man.
They
I
are,
knowledgeable, great people. Look, I this is why I feel so lucky and blessed to be here on this show doing this with you, because I see the kind of people that you surround yourself with. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Steel Flyers All Sports Network went out and said, Oh, well, so you're doing the shorts for 5 star. Can
Yeah.
you do them for us too?
Yeah.
Right? So Frayne is up till 6 o'clock in the morning.
I know. No, I know. Listen, man, I got the best people. I got the best people working with us. Our community
and,
is
and,
just
and
so great, non-toxic. I love it.
the amount of knowledge that is spouting out of Gage is like holy moly.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he just sent me a script over for something he's
Yeah, me
working
too.
on.
Yeah.
He I encouraged him to do this. I'm not going to give it away, but we did talk. I think we talked about it on air the other day, so there might be a hint there somewhere, but it's going to be a longer video. I told him to take some time with it, and I think it's going to be really good. I think he is really ascending to a new level as a content creator this year, and I'm just, that's my biggest thing, man. No one cares about this, but I do. I think that in your work endeavors and especially your creative endeavors, it pays off to invest in people around you, people that are willing to sacrifice for you, and people that are willing to kind of put their head down and work towards a greater goal. Those people you want to invest in. So, yeah, just very, very contemplative and thankful on this day of reaching 20,000 subscribers. It's cool.
I mean, it's one of those things where, and here's the beauty of it, right? When you get good people like that, then you you get good quality stuff. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And w- ever since we have done the shorts, our viewership is up, our subscriptions are up,
Yep.
the reviews that we get on the stuff is up, and you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's been just utterly amazing, and I wish I could have more people like that. You know what I mean?
I know. I know. I know. Um,
It's
it,
definitely worth the money.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right. Well, back to football.
Right.
I see a handful of people chiming up in the chat a little bit. I do see Big Mike 360 Amusements. Shout out. I guess that's maybe your business. If that's your business, go check out Big Mike 360 Amusements. I don't know. Um, he says, when is Patterson coming back? I think Cordero Patterson practiced today, so I think he should be looking good to come back sooner than later, probably this week, if I had to guess, considering we don't play
Really,
till
I thought
Monday.
he was only limited practice, so we'll see.
Yeah, but
I
he's a vet, and we don't play till Monday. I mean, I don't think he'd be
right.
practicing at all if he was still gonna miss. I think he'll play.
Okay.
But either way, I mean, I'd sit him out. Do you need him against the Giants? Give him 2 weeks because you got the bye.
Next week after that, or you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
that gives him an extra week. So that's why I think maybe he may or may not. I don't think
yeah.
he's gonna play.
Yeah, because they're not going to rush anybody back for this week. Because again, you got an opponent not to say you should take lightly, but opponent you should take care of. And so, and then with the bye on the horizon, you want to just kind of get there. And if you could give guys 2 more weeks, you feel a lot better
Right.
about that.
Plus, it's a late.
Yeah. Roman Wilson definitely not going to play. His rookie year is looking a lot like Calvin Austin's rookie year. From what I understand, re-injured his hamstring during practice
Yeah. Yeah.
yesterday. So I just think it's going to end up being a red shirt year for him.
I think so too. And that usually is the case with these guys because um and I've seen a lot of them come like that out of college.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, we saw it before, especially receivers with hamstrings and stuff like that. So and it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. I don't mind. I don't mind having him have a red shirt year. But that's okay with that. You know what I mean? And we'll
Yeah.
see.
No, and
Um,
I always tell people too, since I've been doing this, especially being a Steelers fan, like, um, you know, people often expect way too much out of rookie wide receivers. It's a tough thing, man. Even when you're a really highly polished guy coming out, guys, especially for the first half of their first season, just generally don't impact that much. It's hard. It's a lot. Receiver is it's a very challenging position, and you got to know where to be at the right time. You have to have you know reps with the quarterback and things like that, and so um it is what it is. I'm not bummed about it. I'm not saying Roman Wilson's never going to play, but I think it's similar to like I said, Calvin Austin's rookie year, where I remember doing this every week, and everybody's like, "Oh, I hope Calvin Austin's gonna come in. I hope Calvin," and I was like,
No, I
guys.
remember.
He's
Yeah, no, I
literally
remember.
he's literally 5'9", 160 pounds, and he's never played a snap in the NFL. Like even once he's healthy, it's gonna take a little while. Like, um, you know,
And I like kind of the role that he's taken on.
yeah, I agreed.
Do you know what I mean? And I kind of like him being the returner. And then I mean, yeah, he's he's a little too diminutive and not quite as thick.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're going to be 5'9", I'd much rather see you closer to more closer to the 200 side than
yeah,
more closer to the 150-pound side. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just, I mean, you look at Antonio Brown. He was what, 5'10", 5'11". You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah, yeah.
he was a thick 5'10", 5'11". You know what I mean? And had core that good core body and thick legs. And Calvin Austin just isn't built like that.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? And we all know that it takes at least 2 years before you start seeing guys bulk up in the NFL, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially smaller, diminutive people, right? So
Yeah.
I-
No, and
I'm
but
okay with him not being in.
I do think Austin has been I think he's turned into, he's turning into a capable receiver. Um and I think he's turning into a really good return man, honestly. I mean,
Liking
he
that.
he catches it, it's not a lot of bobbles, anything like that. And he's just kind of, the special teams as a whole. Shout out, by the way, because we just you don't talk about the special teams a lot when you do what I do, because it's hard. They're like long plays. They're hard to like talk about. Who wants to hear me wax poetic about kickoff coverage? Like it just takes a lot of time, but I thought it made a huge difference this week and last week. I thought the kick coverage last week was just unbelievable. There's that great tackle by Connor Hayward, and then
I
this
mean,
week this week I just thought the special teams was outstanding. I saw some data about it. The Steelers special teams is like off the charts in terms of the way that they've contributed versus anybody else in the NFL this year. They're blocking kicks, they're getting good returns. They're not giving up any blocks. They're really taking advantage of the. I give Danny Smith a lot of credit, and Boz. They're taking in really advantage of this new kickoff in a way that a lot of teams aren't. They're really backing teams up with this and forcing them to return it, and they're tackling them. And so, I don't know what that consists of in a thing like this where it's a new thing. I don't know how you go about attacking it as a coach. But they've done a great job, and I expect them to get even better. I think Matakevich is going to come off of IR, and he's a phenomenal special teamer. Shout out Connecticut's own. I'm wearing a Hartford Yard Goats hat today, repping the home state. But
yeah. Sorry about your Mets, buddy.
it's okay. It was a fun trip. And now it's basketball season, so I got the Knicks now, so it's okay.
There you go.
Um, but no, I think special teams has been phenomenal. The blocked kicks. I mean, come on. I mean, sometimes you can go a whole season without blocking a kick. I mean, the Steelers are blocking 2 kicks a game sometimes. It's nuts.
I mean, I like how we got in Mike Tomlin's press conference. He did come out and say that the league did tell him that they made a mistake and that should not
Yeah.
have been a penalty on Minka Fitzpatrick for him doing that, because he did absolutely not use those players to launch himself.
No, he
They
just
just happened to
swam.
be there.
He just swam over them. It was just,
Right.
yeah,
They just happened to be there.
yeah. Oh,
It
sorry.
wouldn't have mattered if they were there or not.
Next time I'll leave my arms over there. Excuse me. Like what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
What was he
What are you
supposed to
supposed to do with
do?
your arms?
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
was I was so mad about that. I was heated. You can ask anybody in the Discord server. I was heated about that because it's a huge play. Those things matter. And I just don't understand. I
That
continue
was
to
a
be
2-point difference.
yeah, it was a huge difference. It was really like yeah, it was like I mean, it was a big difference. You got to 0 points. Instead of six, they got eight. It makes a big deal, and I think
Exactly.
I think that like especially if that's the end of the game, that happened this against the Chargers I mentioned in 2018. I remember I was
Yep.
there. They had to block a kick to try to save the win, and they did, and they called him offsides. Wasn't the case. I just don't understand. I'll always be confused about this. Is like just get it right. Just get it right. Like I don't get that. If you can look at the camera in 2 seconds in some review room somewhere in New York, they're all hooked up, they're watching whatever. Just get the call right. Just get it right. Like I don't understand why sports continue to live in a world where they get stuff wrong. That was so obviously wrong. All three people on the broadcast said it was wrong. To my eye, it was clearly wrong. I'm not
When you
saying you
get,
got to review and challenge everything, but something like
yeah,
that, a scoring play. Here we go. Why is that not challenge? Why is that not reviewable? It's literally a scoring play. Like,
yeah, it's a kick for an extra point.
but they
So
didn't score, so therefore it's not a scoring play until
all
they.
right,
And also,
right,
you can't review the penalty, but still, stupid,
right.
stupid. That was not the spirit of the rule. I never complain about like referee stuff because I tend to think that referees in all sports, there's not broad big conspiracies, and they're not trying to pull the levers, and I don't buy into that when people get into that stuff. They're not trying to help the Chiefs and do this and do that. Like I genuinely think most referees are trying to do a good job. It's just a flawed system, and sometimes they over officiate, and I think that was a scenario where it just obviously over
When
officiating.
look, that's the one thing that you can tell when the announcers say something about the call,
Yeah,
and you know that because it's very rare that you hear announcers say anything about calls on the field unless they're stupidly, blatantly, obvious, right? Like
yeah,
that one clearly was. Yeah,
yeah.
when you go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, by the way, shout out to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If you ever get a chance, please get yourself down to Canton, Ohio, and visit the shrine of all of the greatest. I mean, the greatest team ever on the planet that will never go away. They will always start and always win. You got to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, there's a display there, or uh, uh, you know, uh, an area where you can go, and it's exactly the replay booth,
Oh, cool. Yeah,
right? So you go in there, and they'll give you three different plays, and you have to make the call, right? There's six screens
yeah,
that you do, right? You can fast forward and reverse and zoom in and all that kind of stuff, right? It's exactly what they're showing you is what the refs are looking at when they're reviewing a call. Okay. And it's even more so now because there's even more cameras,
oh yeah,
because you have so many more cameras on the field just to get that yellow line.
yeah,
Just to get those lines on the field, you have to have multiple cameras to get all that,
yeah.
right?
No, just get it right. Just get it right.
Right. But
Yeah,
the fact that they have cameras in the pylons.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So you got all this access to all this media.
Lasers. Why
Hello.
why why are we doing I'm going to get on my soapbox again. I know I've said this a million times since I've been doing this show, but why is the best measurement of 10 yards two old guys holding a plastic stick connected by chains? Why is that the best measure of it? Why every other sport has technology involved. Soccer, they can tell you if a millimeter of the soccer ball crossed the goal line by using lasers. Why is the NFL not employing lasers for the goal line and for the first down marker? Don't tell me it can't be done because it can absolutely be done.
I mean, seriously, all you do is go down to like Lowe's or Home Depot and get yourself one of the.
I put a chip in the ball. Come on, they already have a chip in the ball. They track every single movement every player makes on the field. Like it's silly, and I just you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go on that rant, but I do just think that referees sometimes I don't think that they're conspiratorial. I don't. Do you ever buy that? Like the whole like they're trying to help this team or that team. I don't buy that. Do you?
um, I I think that maybe people have that perception, but let me tell you a little something, okay? Being a referee, would you want to do that?
No.
Sir, would you want to do that? Why?
It's a lot of work. And yeah.
Okay, right? That's just state the facts,
And they're not
okay?
even full-time employees. I don't even think they get
Right,
benefits from the NFL. Like, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So they have no stake in anything. They're basically hired on contractors, right?
Yeah.
They have, they're selling insurance, during the rest of the week, right? Or whatever they're doing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Except for maybe Ed Hockley's son and Cleat, because those guys, they really,
Yeah.
I don't know, Cleat really is into his job way more than he should be.
Well, and there's no positive. That's the thing is if you're a referee where people know your name, they only know your name because they hate you. No one ever knows. Ed Hockley is probably the only one in NFL
Well,
history
because he has guns,
that
man.
has
He
that
looks
has a
bigger than,
positive connotation. Like
yeah.
literally, hey there, sorry.
Yeah, I'm here.
Looks like we're coming back. I just little internet hiccup should be back up in a second. Um
Because like you suddenly just,
Yeah, same. I saw the same on my end. Just a little internet hiccup. We're all good. We're rolling again.
okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, no, Square One Production says in the chat the reason they don't use lasers for first downs is that the first time they tried, a player got caught on the rail system and got a career-ending injury for it. There's a secret base video about it. I mean, that's cool. That's not cool. I don't mean to say that's cool. That's unfortunate that if that happened, but I'm sure the technology is different and better now. I think that they could get it done. I don't. I think there's better ways than plastic
Well,
uh, cones connected by a chain. I think there's better ways to do it.
maybe you don't have to have the thing on the whole time. Maybe you just use it to measure it to say, okay, it's second down and 4, or okay, it's
Yeah,
third down
yeah,
and 1, or look, there's got to be some way, somehow, some way. You know what I mean? That you can do it. You know.
yeah.
I mean,
Um,
my other thing too is sometimes, like I said, I wouldn't want to be a ref. Period.
no, no.
And that goes for just about any sport, hockey, football, right? I wouldn't want to be a ref because that's probably one of the single most hardest jobs you could possibly do, because not only is everybody in the stadium against you, right, but then everybody watching at home is against you because you're wearing black and white stripes.
Yeah, no, it's no one likes you as a referee. No one ever, yeah,
Right,
it's not positive.
right.
This
You
happened,
know,
yeah, I saw this happen a little bit with the WNBA finals, by the way. Shout out New York Liberty winning their first championship a couple days ago. They there was some controversial calls at the end of the game, and a ton of people, I saw a lot of negativity, which I think is really unfortunate because the WNBA grew a lot this year. It had a big upswing and a lot more interest happening, and I think it's a really positive thing that the New York Liberty won because it's good for the game. You don't want every sport to be New York versus LA, but when you're trying to grow something, New York teams, LA teams, it's good. It's a positive thing, and especially in women's sports, which have had a lot of trouble getting off the ground at the professional level. I thought it was really unfortunate to see so much of the discourse turn to like, oh well, they were just they were giving them calls so that New York would win and all that kind of stuff. And I always think that's really unfortunate because I think when you get into that conversation with any sport, you're discrediting what the athletes are doing on the field because you still got to go out there and you still got to hit the foul shots. You still got to go out there. You got to play defense. You can't just hand people a game.
You
Um,
know, you
so
know.
that's yeah, that's just
So we went down the referee rabbit hole.
we did,
We
we
haven't
did.
talked about football for like 10 minutes now, I
We
think.
we have it, and my friend Mark Johnson in the chat says, think about the technology that goes into making a realistic Van Jefferson appear as though he's actually playing football. If they can pull that off, they can figure out a first down. Uh, I love it. I love it. I love that
I
people
love doing this, man.
people love the hypothetical Van Jefferson, the hypothetical receiver thing, which is not even his fault. It's just like the first 5 weeks, it just was like he didn't exist. So it was just a
Right, you
funny.
know.
Everybody be like, "Well, I guess we have Van Jefferson," and I'm like, "Is he even out there? I don't know."
Right.
Good for Van getting a touchdown though.
Hey, how about that? Train in the house.
He's hanging out. He says it's all about the suspense of bringing out the chains, and
Right. And that's why they bring it from the opposite side of the field.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and then look, I have a hard time with where them guys put that football. I really do.
How the
It's
hell
like
do they know most of the time?
I'm sorry, but you guys must not be looking at the same grass that I'm looking at, or you guys must not be looking at the same knee that went down, or the same football that went down, or whatever you want to call it. Right? I'm serious, man. How is it that you see him cross over the line and then you spot the ball behind the line?
It's
Um, um, um
they do a good enough job more often than not, but there are times where I'm just like, how did you even like I thought that with the Wilson rushing touchdown where he snuck
yeah,
it in this week, I was like, I guess that's a touchdown. I don't know. I couldn't see any shot where it was a touchdown at all. I had no idea how they ruled it that way, but I mean,
is
again,
what it is,
it is
right?
what it is.
It's a rushing touchdown. So now here's a question that I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
um, that I said I would get to earlier, right? So now, do you think that it? How do you think it would have been if, let's hypothetically say, we put Russell Wilson into the two games that we lost, right? So discounting that it wasn't necessarily Justin Fields' fault per se that we lost, especially in the Dallas game. You know what I mean? Because that was more on the defense, right? But
Mhm.
if you substitute Russell Wilson, what's your opinion of what do you think those two games would be?
Yeah, I think that they would have ended up in roughly the same position. I think that they're the games against like Denver, Atlanta, they might have been easier. They that might have been like a that might have been a 10 or 12 point win or something like that. But as far as the two losses, nah, I've said this on air, man. I don't think I don't blame Fields one bit for either of those losses. He could have been a little bit better in Dallas. They could have capitalized on more opportunities because they did have a ton of opportunities.
They did, man, and
They
they
did.
were able to move the ball. They
They
they were
did.
able to move the
They
ball.
did. But that game was just so weird. It just never had a feel. That delay. It was weird, man. It just that
Yeah,
whole game, right? I mean, it wasn't me. That game just never had any.
yeah, because that delay just
It
threw it.
just
Like
didn't it
it was
just
a 2 hour
kill.
delay.
It killed like the vibe. It just never felt like it got off the ground. It was just for both teams really, and
I agree.
I think ultimately just the better quarterback, the better, more experienced quarterback ended up winning. That's just how games like that tend to happen. Remember Ben against the Ravens when we had to play like that Wednesday game, like that COVID year. And it was like just this
Yeah.
terrible, ugly game, but like Ben just like figured it out because it was like, all right, I'm gonna like get this done. And I felt like that's what Dak did with the Cowboys game. And but again, to my point, look, the Colts game, they sleptwalked through the entire first half of that game on defense. They gave up 17 points uh, before you could even sneeze to Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson. It was
I
17 to
mean, hello.
nothing. Okay, and it wasn't off of turnovers. It wasn't off of turnovers. They just let them drive. And then don't even forget, Fields did get him back into the game, but end of that first half, they were driving down. They could have got a score before half, and George Pickens unprompted fumbles inside the 10-yard line. That was killer because that's at least 3 points, maybe seven. So instead of climbing back up 17, you're climbing back up 10 in the second half. It's a totally different. They just ran out of time in that, and I thought Fields, I thought he played great in that game. He had the one fumble that, a lot of us didn't even think was a fumble. And most people thought the forearm was down. I agree. But I thought he played well in that game, and they only lost it at the end because of the Zach Frazier bad snap, which you want to blame the quarterback or the center or whatever. It doesn't matter. So, I mean, yeah. But would they might have been six and they might have one less loss right now, maybe. But honestly, I think it probably would have been about the same.
Okay.
Listen, I put both of those games on the defense. You got to do a better job
Yeah.
against a 500-year-old Joe Flacco, and you got to do a better job. Justin Fields scored a touchdown to put him up 4 points with 5 minutes to go. You're an elite defense, and you have to stop him from scoring a touchdown. You have to do it
You
every
didn't.
time. You have to do it every time. I don't care who's
That's
on the
right.
other side.
Yeah. No, I was just curious as to see what you thought. I mean, I didn't necessarily think it would have ended anything or changed anything that much. I just thought it might have been something that, I was interested to hear what you were going to say about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Now we're going to be playing against the Giants. And this is one of the things that I think that we didn't necessarily have with Justin Fields. And that is the ability to see Najee and the electric meatball just overpower teams, games, the line of scrimmage. The
Yeah.
Look, I've watched a lot of football in my day, and I've watched a lot of running backs in my day. Okay, but I'm seeing a completely different Najee Harris this
Yeah.
year than what I saw in the first 4 years. Right? I,
Yeah. No, I
now,
would I would agree with that.
yeah,
He just looks faster. He looks more decisive. He's just I think he's starting to find his place in the offense, and I think that's just these last two games you're seeing him just find the holes and just commit, and I'm really excited about it, man. I
even if
think
the
it's
hole isn't there,
yeah.
it doesn't really matter because you're seeing the power, right?
Yep.
Look,
Yep.
when he played for the Bulldogs, by the way, shout out to the UGA, right? I'm giving you some.
Najee Crimson Tide.
I'm sorry. When he was playing for the Crimson Tide, shout out, roll Crimson Tide. Um, you didn't really see a lot of that power type back. You
Mhm.
saw more of the speed.
Right, right, right.
Right? Like he was more. I mean, I saw more of him doing runs, bouncing it outside, and running down the sideline than I did seeing him running between the tackles.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, now we're seeing him bouncing it outside by running through the tackles.
Right.
Right? So completely different running back here, and big shout out to the Electric Meatball, which, by the way, I love that nickname. I don't know how where you came up with that, but because I mean, I love Jalen Warren because this guy just he reminds me of the Energizer Bunny,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
no,
Like
he's phenomenal, yeah.
he just has forever power, and as soon as you tackle him and he stops, he pops right back up and comes right back and does it again.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right,
and you see so much of what he adds as a receiver too. I think a lot of people forgot about that. You know, he had one catch and run on like a third down that I thought was just such a hidden huge play in this game. Where again, speaking of Wilson's prowess, he put it in the right spot for him to kind of stick his foot in the ground, turn upfield, and get a first, and he juked two guys out of their shoes. So yeah, he's not the same type of player as Najee Harris, but they both have their role. And I for one can't wait to see they get Cordero Patterson back and get Russell Wilson really integrated in this offense after the bye, and you get maybe some of the offensive line back intact, and you're gonna start to see some really interesting stuff. I'm excited. And the offensive line, shout out to the offensive line coach, man, because they have started, I think, 9 different guys this year, and
Yes.
the line has been, you can't say anything
Serviceable.
really bad about it. I mean, a lot of people,
Serviceable.
everybody always wants to talk on Dan Moore like he's some terrible player, and I always felt like he's the most poor, like the most unfairly judged Steeler that we've had in a long time. The guy just goes out, suits up every week, practices all week, plays. And yeah, is he like a franchise left tackle? No, but he's usually going up against the best pass rusher on the other team, and we're usually not getting wrecked by the pass rush. Even the last couple years, everybody always be like, "Oh, the offensive line is so bad, the pass blocking is so bad." What happened when Mason Rudolph started playing quarterback? No one thought twice about the pass rush anymore because we had a quarterback who was getting it out on time. And that's what both Fields and Wilson have done this year. Fields in a different way, where it was like, okay, if I can't find a guy, I'm going to tuck it and run and get 10 or 15 yards because he's a dynamic athlete. With Wilson, it's more of like, okay, I'm going to get out of the pocket. If I can't find anything, I'm going to throw it away. I thought, there was one play where he threw it away down at the end zone. And again, it was like that veteran thing where you're watching it at home and you're seeing him rush to the right and you're like, don't throw it across your body. Don't throw it across your body. Cause a younger guy, a Justin Fields, maybe even might
Would have
try to
done
make
that.
that throw across the body and it gets picked off 9 times out of 10.
You know?
So, I think, just shout out to the offensive line, man. They've been really good. And even this backup center that played this week, McCollum, fantastic. The right guard who's playing for James Daniels, has just been great. I mean, he looks like they stumbled into a guy who's going to replace James Daniels now. So,
Agreed.
yeah, shout out
Yeah.
to the O line coach.
They picked up some good players in the draft this past year for
Hmm.
offensive line.
Yeah,
Okay. And you're seeing some of the fruits of that labor right now. Okay. And I think once you see some of the guys come back, you know what I mean? I haven't really had much of an issue with the offensive line this year. I mean, other than the fact that they've been hurt, and
yeah,
how many different combinations now since week one. You know what I'm saying? But I've really been impressed with how Frazier has played as a rookie center. That's one of as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the harder positions to play um, in football, because not only are you the one that starts every single play on offense because you touch the ball first, but you're also calling out blocking schemes, and you're also calling out defensive threats as well,
right,
right?
right, right.
So, and everybody else is going to follow your lead as far as how that's going to go. You know what I mean? And for a rookie, even Frazier as a rookie coming out and doing that,
Yeah,
I was impressed. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, he's
Um,
been great.
I think that we've gotten past the Broderick Jones jitters, or whatever he had going on. I honestly think it was the fact that they moved him around,
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
he wasn't happy, and he wasn't happy being moved around, and he wasn't as good as he is the way we thought he was when we drafted him, when he's playing his natural position. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I think that was a mistake, moving him around, and it's,
agreed.
hey, look at how much better it's been since he's back playing his natural position. Go figure. It's
Yeah,
not rocket science here, people.
yeah. No, and I mean, and then you just think about how much better it's going to be next year. Hopefully, you get Fautanu back and kind of, move forward. I don't know if Dan Moore will be
Frazier
around
back,
next year,
yeah,
but
yeah,
Frazier will be back. I think in a few weeks. I don't think he's going to
right.
be out too long. I don't think they even put him on IR. So,
No, I don't
um,
think so. No.
he'll probably be back after the bye week. But yeah, no, the offensive line has really been great, and I think that I just have this feeling like I haven't been able to shake all week of I loved I just loved the like pile on last touchdown for Najee to make it 37-15. Like I it just felt like something. It just it felt, especially because it was Najee. Him breaking through that line the way he did, scoring and
And
jumping
then
into
the
the
high step in it.
and then jumping into
Yeah,
the crowd and just like the exuberance, man. It felt just it felt like it used
vindicating.
to. It felt like it used to, where for the first time in a long time, I was like, man, we like just we beat them. Like we just beat them, and really, it's 2 weeks in a row that we just went out second half and just blew the doors off of teams
Yep.
and won. And won convincingly. And I just I love that last touchdown, and it felt to me like so much more than just a touchdown. It felt like breaking the seal. It's like you finally open up King Tut's tomb, and out flies all these bats and all these things, and suddenly things are unlocked, right? The mysteries of the universe have been unchained. And I think that we're gonna see. I could be wrong, and this could be a just a slog fest against the Giants, but I really think Monday night at home, playing in the color rush, new swaggy kind of offense. I think the Steelers are going to come out, and I think they're going to impress people again, man. I think they're going to win convincingly because this Giants team stinks.
Do you remember when? I'm going to take us back here a few years. Do you remember when Pittsburgh was going to the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
or Super Bowl 43,
Yeah,
right?
I was a much
And they
younger man.
right, and they lost all those games, and they said, "All right, well, we got to just do one game at a time." And they came out against Chicago, and they took care of Chicago, and they made it to the playoffs, right? And everybody thought that okay, it's gonna be bust Ben, right? And what did Coward do? He flipped the switch
Yeah,
and said, no. We're going right for your throat from play one, right?
right, right,
I would like to see that against the Giants.
right,
I want to see that against. I want you to strap it on and go take it to them. I
right.
don't want you to have to come back or fight your way for a win or no. Go out there and be the team that you think you are and do it.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm with you totally. I mean, the one thing I'll say about the Giants is their defense is stronger than most people probably think it is. They're I think sixth in the league in passing D. Not
It ain't
great
gonna be
in
no cakewalk.
not great in rushing D though. The 25th in rushing D, so that presents an opportunity there. Um, but their offense is just atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
Yeah,
good at all. They're 30th in points scored. They're scoring 14.1 points per game. That's 30th in the league. That's terrible. That
yeah,
their defense is good. But I mean they're losing games on average. Their average points per and points against, even with a very good defense, they're losing on average by a touchdown a week. So
exactly.
that's a team you gotta beat. You can't be a real team and lose to a team like this Giants team. Daniel Jones to me is, um, I continue to see him every time I see him, because I watch the Giants a good bit because some of my family are Giants fans, and so like if the Steelers aren't playing, they're local, I'll just throw them on and I'll root for the Giants because whatever, I have
Why
no
not?
investment, and but they're just so bad, and I continue to be so shocked every year that they're still running out there with Daniel Jones at quarterback. He is just I don't understand a world,
Yeah,
man, where Joe Flacco can barely get a job every year and Daniel Jones is making $45 million. I just don't get it. I'll never get it. The guy stinks. He's just not a good quarterback,
I
bar none.
mean, you know, hey man, I, they're doing what they're doing, right? They're obviously riding that horse, so there you go. I guess it
He's
is what it
20
is.
he's 24 and 41 in his career,
Wow,
and he got a
that
contract
that's as
extension.
bad as Justin Fields. Oh, sorry, I let
Hey,
that slip out, didn't I?
Justin Fields is 4-2 for that's a 666 winning percentage with the Steelers.
Yeah, with the
Uh,
Steelers.
yeah, no, the guy just he's I mean, look at his record as a starter. They had the 1 year in 22 where they went
That's
nine
it.
six and one and they went to the playoffs. But
Yeah.
besides that, he's gone. This is his career: 3-9, 5-9, 4-7, 9-6-1, 1-5, 2-5. That's his record year by year. The guy stinks. The guy stinks. The Giants are bad, but come on, you got a good defense. You got to make Daniel Jones look like a chump.
And they don't
That's
really have anybody. They got rid of Saquon Barkley. They don't really. I
They have
mean,
no running game. The only thing they have that you have to worry about a little bit is they do have the rookie receiver they drafted is dynamite. Malik Neighbors. He's gonna be a stud as soon as they get him somebody to throw him the ball.
okay.
But that's one guy to worry about. You stick Joey Jr. on him, and you know.
By the way, another shout out to Penn State.
Mm,
We are Penn State because Joey Jr., man, he is just balling out, right?
yeah.
Come on now. Uh, of all the positions that I would have to say the Steelers are good at, I would say that we got that one covered there with him. I mean, I have been nothing but impressed with how he's come out and embraced the next level.
No, he's great. He's phenomenal. He's so physical. He reminds me so much of Ike Taylor, except for that he can actually catch the ball when it comes his way. Um, but he's willing to make the tackles. And as I've said repeatedly on the show, the if you look at the secondary, they remade half of that secondary this offseason with the additions of Deshaun Elliott and the trade for Dante Jackson. And more than that, actually, if you include the slot, because they brought in Beanie Bishop to play the slot. And so
Boy,
that's
was that a good move.
yeah, so that's 3/5. You return Minka and you return Joey Jr. Um, that's pretty impressive. It seems like they've hit on all of those positions because Dante Jackson grades out unbelievably by the metrics, and
Yep.
he makes one tackle a game that really impresses me. I thought he was going to be just like a speed cover guy, but he's willing to put his nose in there and take out guys. Really impressed by him. I think he has 3 interceptions already. And Deshaun Elliott, I mean, man, I like that. He's like bordering like I might get a jersey kind of status. He is just
Whoa.
he's been fantastic, man.
Yeah, buddy.
It's not often like I love safeties. Like I just love safeties as a position. I always have. I love Troy. I love Minka. I just always like the position. And I just like it's not easy as a free agent to come in at strong safety and every week have an impact play, but every week this season there's one or two Deshaun Elliott plays where I'm like, "Whew, that was nice." And he's a perfect fit for what they needed. I think he, really has made the back end of the unit better. Um yeah, no, the secondary, I was concerned about the secondary, and it's only going to get better because Beanie Bishop is finding his place now, and after the bye, you got Cam Sutton coming back from injury, which only makes you better.
Here's my only problem with the defense. And it's because of where they're playing Minka now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that has allowed the running back to come out of the backfield and make a lot of plays against the Steelers because if you go back 2 years ago or last year when Minka was playing defense, he played more up on the line, so there was a heck of a lot less success on that play because he was the one covering that play. Well,
Right.
he's he's 25 yards deep from that play now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So
I agree that they're not setting Minka up for big plays, and it's still I think it's been a little bit of a rough year for him. I never worry about Minka because I just think I think he's just a phenomenal player, but
I agree.
I do think there's been a couple plays where he's taken a poor angle and it's led to guys getting longer plays, but I think what he takes away on the back end, it's invaluable and you can't it's like I'm trying to think of like it's like you don't notice the referee, you don't notice the officiating when it's solid. No one's ever like, oh, that was a really well officiated game.
You know,
You only notice the officiating when it's bad because
right.
it affects the game. And I think Minka plays a position in this modern day NFL where I think he could be really great on 85% of the snaps, but watching at home, you have no idea because all he did was take away something that the quarterback didn't throw. You know what I mean? So he's not always making a pass breakup. He's not always getting an interception because he's in the spot you need him to be so that the quarterback says, I'm not going to go there.
And that's been kind of the thing where there's been a considerably less amount of targets his direction. You know what I
Right.
mean? Since he's been playing more center field. You know what I mean? So all in all, though, I'm very happy with where this team is right now. I, I'm really liking the addition of Russell Wilson. It was something that I've wanted to see since I heard he was coming.
Yeah.
Okay, it it's been something that I've been patiently biding my time waiting for. I have been very excited to have Russell Wilson come to this team. I was very much on board with having him come here because I really felt that he would be able to help develop this offense, that he would be able to help unlock some of the things of this offense because of the way he plays the game. He's still capable of doing the rollouts. He's still capable of doing the RPOs. I'm not going to ask him to run 10 times a game because I need him throwing the ball 10 more times instead of running it.
Right. Yeah.
I
No, I
mean,
mean he's definitely slower than he was. I mean, there's no doubt about it. A couple of those
well, when you're
scrambles.
35, you ain't
Oh, it's
exactly Mr.
hey, it's
Speed.
not. Yeah, no, it's not. It's I just he definitely like I could see it. It was noticeable a couple of those times he had to kind of scramble. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like
Okay, but now
especially after watching Fields for 5 weeks where I was so excited to see a quarterback that could just take off and boom, but that's not what you need him to do. You need him to make time. You need him to find, space to throw the
couple extra
ball.
seconds.
Yeah.
Let's look at 35-year-old Ben
Yeah.
and 35-year-old Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And 35-year-old Ben was playing like Aaron Rodgers is playing, right?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
he's not capable of dropping back more than a couple steps. He's not doing rollouts. He's not running because he can't. So
Yeah.
he's getting rid of the ball quick.
Right. Right.
Russell
Right.
Wilson is still able to do that. It's
Yeah.
not
No.
nearly as fast as it was when he was 25, but
Right.
and
No, he's
and
not hobbled. He's not hobbled. I think you definitely saw the difference in this game. I called it out on the show, and I this is going to be my bold like NFL hot take is that people are going to start noticing this about Rodgers. I think the Steelers took a page out of the Washington Commanders playbook. You remember in 2020 when the Commanders, I don't know if they were a football team at that point or whatever they were called that year, but they were the first loss. Remember, in the 2020 we were 11-0, and then they came out and they had that dynamic defensive line, and they just said, "Okay, we're not gonna rush the passer. We're just gonna stop at the line of scrimmage because we know he's gonna throw it in 1.8 seconds, and we're just gonna get our hands up." And I thought that that's what the Steelers did against Aaron Rodgers this week. I think they looked at the tape and they said, this is a guy who can't move anymore. Their offensive line is bad. He's going to have to get rid of it as quick as possible. And I think that teams are going to start doing this to Rodgers. I know this isn't Steelers talk, but Rodgers looks diminished. He still has the arm strength to me, but he's not the player he was before the injury. That Achilles is a tough injury to come back from, especially at that age. It's a tough injury for any athlete to come back from at any age, but
it,
especially
it
he's
took
40. I mean, he's 40 on the nose. That's
41.
yeah, that's up there,
41.
man.
Dan Marino had that same injury,
Yeah.
right? And his first year back was
No.
mm,
No, it's
not
tough.
all that great.
It's tough, and
Okay.
I think you're gonna see teams copy the Steelers and just do that because it worked, and it's exactly what teams were doing to Ben at the end.
Yeah.
But
You know,
I'm happy to not have that guy. Even though our quarterback's small, He didn't get anything tipped, and he gets the amount of air he gets under the ball is unbelievable. Roger Wilson, he arcs that thing and just gives the receivers a chance.
But you notice though that every single time that that ball came dropping down,
Yeah,
it was like bloop.
yeah. No, I know.
I mean, it was like, oh, hi there, football. How are
No, I know.
you?
I know.
Here, let me carry you to the end zone.
Landed right in the basket. Shout out Bear Pod, by the way, dropping another $1.99 in the chat. Be like Bear Pod, drop $5, $10, $20, $1,000 in the chat. You know, super chat it up.
Whoa.
No, but be like Bear Pod. He says Nike only sells iron-on jerseys now. He says it's for my Deshaun Elliott investment. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I hate that they're making the jerseys cheaper in every sport because of
Well,
Fanatics.
they're not Nike anymore now, are they? Are they Fanatics
They're
now?
Nike. They're everything's Nike branded, but Fanatics is the one manufacturing everything.
And I'm here to
They're
tell you that that's the cheapest set of
no
stuff, man, all day long.
Fanatics is the worst thing that
It
happened to
is.
sports. It is because it's terrible. And I'll tell you, it's not even that bad. I don't know if you followed any of this, but like with baseball this year, they switched the on-field uniforms, and people were. I mean, it was ridiculous. The names are like tiny. The fabric is different on the pants and the shirts. They don't match. If you get sweaty, you see right through it. It just looks like crap. It's unbelievable what they're doing. It's a real shame because their whole thing is just making things cheap, and it's a real bummer, man, because I used to be able to deal with it when it's like, okay, time to get a new jersey. I'm going to spend $150 or whatever it is. But you're getting something premium. You know, I still got my Wilson Greg Lloyd authentic from the 90s. It's my Uncle John's. And that thing, man, you could put it outside in a hurricane and it wouldn't change. I mean, it's like made out of like bulletproof Teflon whatever. I mean, it's like it looks as good as it did when it was made in 1995. Meanwhile, I got a white Juju jersey that I got like 4 years ago. I've probably worn it maybe 10 times, and the neck's all yellow and like it's a disaster what they're doing to sports fans. I don't mind if you're gonna charge me through the nose to buy some stuff, but I want you to provide me a premium experience for it. You know?
I mean, the jersey that I had made, which was like early 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
right? That I think that was, if I remember, that was Reebok that was making the
Yeah,
jerseys
yeah,
then,
yeah.
right? And man, I'm not kidding. You're right. I can hold that jersey up and it'll stand there by itself. You know, I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
putting on a shield. You know,
yeah, yeah. No.
right? I mean, I can wear that jersey and a hat and be outside in 40-degree weather, and it's cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no, it's a shame
Dude,
what they're doing to the people, but you know, that's billionaire stuff. What can I do?
right.
Um
But
but
you know what
yeah,
you can do? Because you're not a billionaire yet, but
no,
you
I'm
can
not.
go over to patreon.com/5SMU and drop $4 a month or $7 a month and join the Patreon and be part of the movement to get
Listen,
Steve to be a billionaire.
$4 a month. All right. I'm doing billionaire capable work, okay? You guys
Right?
know it. I'm out here hustling for
Hey,
you guys.
hey, I
I'm
see
working
you at the meetings. I
I'm
see you at the meetings.
I'm here. I'm here 6 years now. All right. I'm out here hustling. All right. I'm out here working for you guys to put out the most entertaining, unique content. There is
All day
nothing.
long.
I'll stand by that. You know, all day long. There is nothing like what I do on YouTube. Not to toot my own horn, but there ain't nothing like what we do. All right. So hop over to Patreon. You know what the deal is. I got some nice cards here. I'm going to show you real quick.
Uh-oh.
My thing's gonna probably blur them out, but
No, no, no,
you
no.
see
Oh,
you see who
wow.
that is? You know who that is?
Wait, no,
That's
it is kind of blurring it. All right, is that Rod Woodson?
that's Rod Woodson, football's finest, tops, limited
Oh,
edition. These
he
are
is one of
classic.
my all-time favorite.
These are classic. This is from 1992. I just
Yeah.
ordered a whole lot. See this? That's all Rod Woodson. I just ordered a
Oh,
whole lot of Rod Woodson cards. They're
are
gonna
they all
go.
different?
They're yeah, I mean some are duplicates, but mostly they're different. They're gonna go in some of the envelopes that have to go out to the Patreon subscribers. People get promo merch with like stickers and stuff. I'm way behind because when we had to switch over to Patreon this year, we got like 100 people at once, which is we've never had before. So I'm way behind. You guys know I had the wedding and all that, so I haven't had time to get the promo merch together. But coming up soon, I'm acquiring stuff to send to people. So if you have been on the fence, I would really advise you now is time to do it. Join up on patreon.com. You get the premium video experience where you get the video in its whole in its full complete version. Um, Helps us out the most. So do it now. Patreon.com slash 5SMU, or be like AirPod and drop $1.99, $5, $10, $4,000 in the super chat. Don't drop
4,000.
$4,000 in the
Hey,
super
man, look,
chat.
if he drops $4,000, I want a cut.
Don't you can have a cut, but don't do that though, because if you want to give us $4,000, you can just call me and like I'll give you my PayPal,
Yeah,
because YouTube takes like half of what you
you
donate.
know,
So
right?
so don't do that. If you're gonna do that, send it directly over to me.
Correctly,
I'll
yeah.
give you my email address. You can hit me on PayPal.
If you want to drop $4,000,
If you'd like to become an investor in Five Star Matchup, we're actually doing an IPO. We're gonna sell stock.
whoa,
Um,
all right.
yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate y'all though. Get over to Patreon if you haven't yet. All right.
By
Well,
the way, just want to say shout out. Just
yeah,
want to say shout out real quick to you and Frayne and Gage for doing a great stream the other night, and then also for putting out a really great show. Look, every time you guys put something out, man, it's always top quality stuff. I mean, not only are you investing in those people, but you've helped convince Steel Flyers All Sports Network to invest in these people as well too. So they not only work for Five Star, but they work for Steel Flyers All Sports Network. So it really big shout out to those guys, man. They really the content that they put out, the way that they help you with your show and the show that you guys put out, man.
yeah,
Like I said, I just feel very thankful and grateful. And hey,
yeah.
uh,
Shout out Black Rain.
5 star
One of
fire.
one of my favorite people on the entire internet. Black Rain drops a 5 star fiver. This is a guy who's a Patreon subscriber. He's arguably the MVP
He
of the
is a legend.
Discord server. Dropping $5 in the chat. What a legend. He says 5 star. What would be more epic this season? A potential Steelers Super Bowl party or your wedding reception? Choose wisely. Shout out to the Discord, which
Discord.
yeah, the Ohio State. I love it. Yeah, no, our Discord is
Right?
unbelievable. I'm telling you, I can't. It's so much fun. The Steelers Super Bowl party. It, listen, I had a 12-foot disco skeleton at my wedding, as you guys have all known. I've talked about it on the air. Um, so that's
I
hard to
have
top.
seen pictures of said
It's
disco
pretty
skeleton
amazing.
with lights.
It's pretty amazing. But you know what? I own that disco skeleton, and so if the Steelers were to win the Super Bowl this year, maybe me and the disco skeleton will host another party, and it'll be equally as good. How could I get all these people? I got to get all the five. See, the problem when you build something like this on the internet is nobody's in the same place. I wish so bad I could have like a convention, and have all of my people.
There we
Wouldn't that be
go.
so sick? But like,
That would be
everybody,
cool,
but
right?
we appreciate you, Black Rain. Love the shout out, and yeah, he's right. The Discord server is so dope. Get over there, join up. Patreon.com 5SMU. Steel
Yeah, man.
Flyers. I think it's time to get head down the road. I gotta get some
I
dinner
think.
going.
Yeah, man.
What do you feel? What do you want to leave the folks with before we get out of here?
Well, for one, I definitely think that the Steelers are heading in the right direction here.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, with the with a quarterback that's going to help to unlock some of the offense here. I think we're going to finally start to see the identity of the Pittsburgh Steelers here over the next week or two here. So, I think we're going to see that.
Okay.
Um, the other thing I would like to say is um, big shout out to all you folks out there, man. Really appreciate you guys hopping in here and watching the show and all the subscribes and the likes and everything. And I would ask and implore you guys to hop on over to Steel Flyers All Sports Network at steelflyers.com, and join our little group over there too, man, because we do a lot of great stuff with hockey and prospects. So we're also credentialed with the Flyers and with the Phantoms. So I know it's not football, but it is sports related. I also do some Penn State stuff and some other things as well too. So I would really appreciate if you guys would hop on over there to Steel Flyers. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on all the social media platforms. We also have shows out on all of the podcasting world from Apple to iHeart. All you have to do is type it in and you'll find us. And you can also go to sportspider.com to get all of our latest articles as well too, as going to steelflyers.com. So that's what I'd like to leave everybody. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be part of this, for allowing me to be on here and doing this with you guys, man. It's something that I look forward to. I'm chomping at the bit, literally, with no teeth, chomping at the bit to do this show on Thursdays because I love doing this. I love talking about the Steelers, and I love being here with Steve and the whole group and everybody. And hey, Alex Nunez, a 5-star fiver, boom, another legend. Hey, there you go.
Shout out Alex Nunez, another 5-star, couple 5-star fivers from some OGs at the end of the show here. We love y'all. We appreciate it. Be like Black Rain, be like BearPod, be like Alex Nunez. Drop a 5-star fiver in the chat when we're hanging out. It goes a long way. We love it. Alex Nunez
Yep.
says Steelers Nation lucky to have a 5-star vid to look forward to after games, win or lose. Keep bringing the jokes. Hashtag Danger Russ. We love it. Drop a little heart there. Drop a little heart there. Y'all are the best. Thank you for dropping a couple bucks in the jar before we get out of here. Remember the line I said about the Eric Green shoulder pads? Look at these shoulder pads. Look at this. What were we doing? What were we doing?
Right?
What was he gonna have to hit? A 2x4? Why were they so big? Come on.
He was gonna have to hit it. Did you, by the way, did you happen to know how big Eric Green is? Isn't he like 6'8", like
Oh
close
yeah,
to 300
he was
pounds?
big. Yeah, this is still just Rod, but like, what are these shoulder pads? What were we doing back then? Guys, they probably were. They must cut their 40 time by 2 seconds when they put those things on. No aerodynamic nature.
When I played ball, right? I mean, okay, we would put on shoulder pads, and I am not kidding, not kidding. They came all the way, they came all the way down to here in the front, right? And there was crisscross straps all the way down
Yeah.
to, and then you had the strap underneath to buckle it
Yep.
up here underneath your arm, right?
Yeah. No, it's nuts.
Oh my god, they
Uh,
were huge, man. They were, you could hear them flapping in the breeze as you were running.
so ridiculous. Alex Black Rain says 27-12 Steelers. Here we go. I love it. Alex Nunez says give Washington more surface area to lay the wood. So he wants the shoulder pads. We should just bring him back like throwback, just like throwback day. You have the big shoulder pads. The Steelers should do that. Yeah, the Steelers should do. They should do that for like when they do the promos, like they did the promo picks because they're doing Color Rush this week, and they do nice shoot with Patrick Queen and whatever. Oh, they're so sharp. But like they should do that when they do the throwbacks. Some teams should do that with like the old like shoulder pads and helmet and like. But wouldn't that be such a trip to see like Pat Fryermuth with like the big shoulder pads and like the old round like circle helmet that definitely didn't stop anything.
Now they're all like specially made now, for concussions and everything, right?
Yeah.
And the single bar.
Yes. Oh my God, Boz. We need to see Boz with the single bar face mask. I need it. I need it.
Down, way down in its chin, like Matt Barr used to have.
Yes. The I will say, because I love everyone hates when I just blabber on about uniform discourse, but I love uniforms in sports, and I'm a jersey collector. But I gotta say, the small tweak of adding the gray face mask to the throwback was. I mean, it was like night and day. It just added so much. The Steelers should go back to that full time. It just gives that little extra something. It coordinates with the circle on the logo. I just think it's a better contrasty look. I love it.
I got one word for you. I got one word for you with the uniforms that they had this past week. Fabulous.
Yeah, no, I love the block numbers. It should be their main one.
Oh, my
Um,
jersey that I had made is block numbers.
yeah, no, it's the
Yeah,
best.
yeah,
It's the best one. I love it.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I listen. Yeah, what I'm gonna leave you with is I think that this is a team on the uprising. On the
Yeah.
upswing. I felt like that Najee jumping into the stands moment, it just felt like they were a team that was exercising demons. It felt to me like
I'll
you
agree
were
with that.
seeing things getting unlocked, and you could see for the first time in a long time the skill players
Having
could kind
fun.
of see what could happen. They had this belief, and I was admittedly pessimistic about the quarterback change, but you gotta give me some slack in that, like, I've been watching this team now the last 6 years just be completely inept on offense and at the quarterback position, and I'll stand by it. I'm not retroactively saying that I thought Justin Fields was playing poorly. I still think Justin Fields was playing pretty good. I just think he was a different type of quarterback. And I think, if Wilson can stay healthy and he can play like he played this last week, this is an offense that could go from being like 24th in the league or wherever they are to, by the end of the season, I think they could be in that like top kind of 12, 10
Yeah,
kind of range. And if you do that with this defense, you got a chance against anybody, man, because
I
these
agree.
last few years we've been saying, oh, the defense is number 2 in the league, number 3 in the league, but the offense is number 29. And it can't be that
Yeah, you
imbalanced.
can't.
You can deal with a number 7 ranked defense if you have a number 9 ranked offense. It's got to be close to balanced. And um, to me, the Steelers have a team, the look of a team that is close to achieving that. And I'm liking what's happening with Art Smith. I'm liking what's happening a lot with the run game. I'm really, really pleased and really proud of the offensive line and the way that they're gelling together. And the defense and the special teams they are who we thought they were. They continue to be excellent. So, um, you
All
know,
day long, man.
I think they're gonna go Monday night. They haven't lost at home on Monday night since I was 1 years old, if you can believe that. 1991 was the last time they lost at
Well,
home.
thank you, Mr. Jinx.
Listen, it doesn't matter. I
I
said
know.
all week. I
I
said
don't
all
believe in
week
any of
that
that.
they were making the wrong move, and Wilson came out and killed it. So I mean, it
Right.
doesn't matter what you say. No, I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to take care of business. I think that
They
they're
better.
they're
After what they did against the Jets, they better.
yeah. No, no, I think
I,
they're going to
I
come
will
out.
not accept anything else other than a W
Oh, a loss would
against the
be,
Giants.
yeah, it'd be monumentally disappointing, but I don't think it's going to
Yeah,
happen. I think they're going to come out, they're going to take care of business, and we're going to look back at a first half that was 6-2. And, my bar for a good first half was 5-3. 6-2, I think, would be excellent. Obviously, 7-1, 8-0 would be better, but 6-2 is great. It sets you up really nicely to get to 11, 12 wins, maybe even.
exactly. Exactly.
Um,
And that's what you're going to need in order to get anywhere,
yeah,
anytime in the postseason.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to color rushes on Monday night.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I just feel
The
really
only
good about this
problem
team. Yeah.
the only problem that I see, right, is exactly what they said here in the chat, is that we look forward to that 5-star video right after the game, right?
Right. Yeah.
And if it goes like you start looking at your watch and going, oh man, it's like past certain
Oh
time,
yeah.
and where's 5-star
Oh yeah. No,
Mexico? Wait
yeah.
a minute. No,
I'll be
it's
honest.
like we're waiting for a fix, man. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you. 29-year-old Steve. This would be out the next morning.
Right.
34-year-old Steve, you're getting this Tuesday evening at best. Okay, I am to steal a phrase from Danny Glover. I am getting too old for this
Yeah,
shit. All right, respectfully, I'll see you guys Tuesday evening at best.
right. You know.
But yeah. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks for getting us up over 20K subs.
Sure, man.
And
Thank you all
yeah,
very much.
we'll see you next week, and I'll catch you down the road on the next edition of 5 Star Radio. Adios.